At the Managing Management Time seminar, I heard an interesting story to illustrate the process. It's the story of two fellows running side by side through the woods, being chased by a bear. The bear was gaining. One fellow said to the other, "If I had my running shoes, I could run a little faster." The other fellow replied, "I still don't think you could outrun a bear." To which came the retort, "I don't have to outrun the bear, I just have to outrun you." I found that even though you get a step ahead, the bear is still there. In my case, eliminating subordinate imposed time gave me that extra step. But other demands on my time still existed. Panting close behind, demands from my boss and peers and legitimate requests from my staff. But the newly gained discretionary time gave me some room to get a handle on those other demands. Once I got that little seed of discretionary time, I planted it carefully and made it grow. First, with my boss, I took time to figure out how to do my work in a way to build her confidence, to the point where she began allowing me more and more discretion. For example, there are many areas of my work where I previously could take no action until I checked with her first. She wanted to know my plans in advance so she could have a chance to forestall mistakes I might make. All that checking with her took a lot of time for both of us. Since then, however, my record of success in those same areas has lowered her anxieties to the point where I'm allowed to handle them on my own and inform her of what I did afterward in my quarterly report. This saves both of us a lot of time. In other words, I used my newly gained discretionary time in a way that gave me and her even more discretionary time. I followed a similar approach with my peers. In the past, I had been relying solely on the authority of my position to get things done, because I was too busy to deal with situations in more productive ways. And I paid for it. But once I got some discretionary time, I spent some of it building my relationships with people in the system, and I found that the more rapport we had, the more they would do for me with less effort on my part. Again, just a short example will illustrate the process. In the past, if I urgently needed something from a staff person, the best I could get was routine by-the-book effort. Fill out the form, and we'll go to work on it. But in recent months I have invested some discretionary time in building better relationships with them. Now when I need something urgently, I get their wholehearted support, and it takes less of my time to get it. This from the very same system I used to criticize as bureaucratic, unwieldy, and unresponsive. Again, as with my boss, I have invested discretionary time to create even more discretionary time. In my dealings with the system, I have learned that, however inept it may be, the people who operate it can do wonders for me if they will. So rather than criticizing and resenting the imperfect system, I practice this philosophy. It is better to strike a light blow with a crooked stick than spend my whole life trying to straighten the darn thing out. Likewise with my people, as you now all too well know, in the space of a single morning, that famous Monday morning, I returned their monkeys to them and in the process converted several days of subordinate imposed time into an equal amount of discretionary time. Then I began coaching my people along toward greater self-reliance. Every incremental increase in their self-reliance meant an equivalent increase in my discretionary time and in their morale. There is a high correlation between self-reliance and morale,